The chain is kind of on the rusty side. Probably stand to buy a new one, but what I'm going to try to do is pop it off. There's the master link right there, and stick it in some a rust mediator, basically. See if it can loosen it up. As you can see right here, that one is kind of tight, so but we take it off, we put some brake parts cleaner on it, get all the grease off of it, and then we'll let it soak for a day or two, see how that goes. All right, there you have it. So I'll spray it down, and then we'll put it in some rust remover. As you can see, there's an area here that does not want to loosen up, so that'll be one that I'll have to watch out for. Everything else, though, it's nice and flush, minus that one spot. So I've got the 3M high power brake cleaner. I'll get the grease off of it. All the oils, PB Blaster. We're going to use Metal Rescue. I've used this before. I've had great results. Ooh, this says it's 2 times faster. That's new to me. So we're going to let it soak in a coffee can. If you need one of these, I probably have 500 or 600 you're welcome to have. So let's drop her in. I got the chain wiped down because it's got rust, but it doesn't appear to have any grease. So I'm just going to coil it up. Got the master link. And we'll check back in about 24 hours, see how it looks. Got the new bushing for the gas tank and also the new petcock. Much more pliable than the last one. I'm going to give it a quick small blast of silicone spray. Help that go in a little easier. Perfect. All right, we are in. Let's get the fuel line hooked up now. That's a great set to buy. Maybe it was $10 to my door for 80 pieces. I like them a lot better than the the worm gear hose clamps. That's a 11 mil. So we'll go a hair smaller. Go with the 10 mil. That looks good. The carburetor inlet is a lot smaller than the one on the engine, on the gas tank for some reason, but I still think a 10 millimeter might do it. Yeah, that came right off, so let's try about a 9 millimeter. Next lowest one I have is a 7, so oh yeah, that's a good one. Can you get the tank tightened down? And then we have a brand new plug, so let's put the new plug in. Also some dielectric grease. Love that stuff. BR6HS, match up good. I'm not sure about you guys, but I am a fan of putting just a drop of anti-seize on the plug. I have to keep it away from the diode, but just a drop is all I need. And of course the dielectric grease. Prevent stuck boots. Let's get some fuel in it. We'll give it a few pulls, see how it does. Fresh batch of 40-to-1 clots. Stupid things. Opening up the petcock and hoping that I'm not going to see fuel dripping down the float bowl. Now this new petcock I did get does not have a filter, so I think I will put an inline filter in just to play it safe, even though the inside of the tank is clean and I only use really good fuel. But I don't see anything leaking yet. So let's give it a shot here, see how it does. It's not going to go anywhere, unfortunately, because I have no chain, but we can at least rev the engine. Choke on. Push for choke. How about choke off? Now, still doesn't want to idle, so we'll have to adjust the screw, I think. That might be the easiest solution. Let's give it another start. Going to make another adjustment to the ladle screw here. This is just going to keep the throttle open a little bit. Going to make an adjustment to the throttle. This isn't actually going to change the fuel to air mixture, but it's just going to allow the throttle to stay open a little bit more. I think that came out pretty good. Let's call that a success. All right, we're back 24 hours later. Let's see how it looks. That looks pretty black. Well, definitely got the rust out. This is going to flash rust, so we need to dry it quickly and get it in some oil. Actually, once you get all the black off, it looks nice and silver. So there's the end product. That's completely rust free. Now the one spot that I didn't think was gonna be an issue, I guess it doesn't want to bend, so we will hit that with a mallet, see if we can't break that loose. Put some penetrating oil on it. But put a little bit of oil on this washer fluid jug and we'll let it soak. Let's take a look at getting this seat off. As you can see, it's a little bit rotted. It looks like these clips right there hold it in and it slides forward. So I'm going to guess there's probably some attachment hardware underneath. So let's take a look at that, see if we can't get the seat slid off and get some new plywood on it. We have an inverted sled. Let's take a look in there. Yep, it looks like there is a set of 2 bolts. I'm gonna have to spray those down because those look pretty rusty. But the cogs look good. Bogey wheels look good. Everything else looks nice, but pretty dry rotted. I guess for being almost 30 years old, it's what you'd expect. Well, there's the adjustment for the track too. All right, well, let's spray that down with some penetrating oil and we'll see if that will help loosen them. My guess is it's going to spin as soon as I do it, so we'll probably just have to take a crowbar or something of this anyway, which actually might be the fastest method. Let's just do that. So the other option is just putting a Sawzall in here. This is actually in there pretty good. I'm surprised. Maybe I will try just backing the bolt out. I've got a full set of replacement stickers, which I'm going to be utilizing because I'd like to sand this, prime it, and paint it. Let's see how easily these come off. Not too bad. Looks like it goes under the seat too, so I don't know how much more I can get. Well, it's been a couple of minutes, so let's see if we can get this off. Oh. Hey, we just snapped it. Let's try the other one. Snapped another one off. Beautiful. That's what we needed. All right, well, let's see if we can just lift this off now. There it is. A little crispy, but all in all, not so bad. So it's got an SAE connection for the tail light. So here's the pan. As you can see, that's where the two bolts were in the rear. And there's the light connection, which will go underneath it. Wow, it still feels pretty nice. And there you have the seat. So if got enough left, we can at least make a template on the new piece of plywood. Little brittle, but honestly for 30 years old, not bad. I think between the rotting wood and the screwdriver, we got all the staples up. Wow. That's brittle. That screw's still holding on. We'll get it. So we got just enough of the OSB, as odd as that is, piece back together so we can make a new template. And then the foam on this is still really good. I think we can pull this out, clean it up real nice, and we can use it again. Cover looks good. Definitely need a nice washing, but I think it'll really come around nice. Here is the new piece of plywood. which is treated, 1/2 inch instead of this. That's maybe 3/8. I'm going to say maybe more quarter, that swelled. So this gives us a really nice template. And we can mark it. Use a framing square. And then we know which holes we got to drill. And we'll be good as new. There's a lot of staples still left in this, so I'm going to pull them out. Some of them are going to be easy because they straightened out. Other ones that are still folded over are going to take a little while to move. So because the seat cover is so brittle, I'm just going to take a little bit of Dawn and some hot water. Just going to let it soak in here. And then once the half is soaked, I'm going to come back and flip it over and soak the other half. I will say this, the hot water has made this extremely pliable, so I might actually be able to get the whole thing in, and I am. So we'll give this a couple hours just to soak, and then we'll give it a rinse, and we'll see how it goes. Whenever you put the seat cover on, you always want it to be hot anyway, so we'll maybe put it in the dryer in the sun for an hour or two. This has been soaking for a little bit now. It's decent, not great, but once I get it back on the machine, I'm sure it'll really be easy to give it a scrub down. It's some pretty dirty water, but let's rinse it out. And we'll just let it dry. So before I start working on it some more, I want to give it a quick degreasing. I'm using the Gunk Foamy engine cleaner. I'm going to give it a quick wash and spray it down, let it sit for a little bit. give it a spray. I got about 10 minutes of soaking, so let's give it a wash and see how it turns out. So here's the engine after the degreasing. I think it looks pretty good. Not great, but good enough. Definitely shined up the carb real nice. Fuel tank is spotless now. So on the board for the seat, these two holes up here are where the seat slides into. So I'm just gonna take a hole saw and get me close. Doesn't like that treated plywood. Now we can square off the front where it's going to hook into. Well, something I didn't take into account for is the height of these. My extra thick plywood, unfortunately, does not work. So may have to heat this and just bend it up. Try to buy a little bit more real estate. So let's give that a shot and see if that'll help get the extra little bit that we need. That looks decent. So let's get the piece of wood on, and then we'll bend that back down over it. So looking at this closely now, looks like notching that square wasn't necessary. Looks like the back side is where it's going to need it to sit flush. So I'll go back to that. Looks like I can ride just that one corner. I didn't do a good job of cutting it, so looks like the right sides are really all I have to notch out to make it work. Okay, so we've got the rest of that hollowed out. It's centered right where it needs to be. And good to go. Nice tight finish. Now the shape of the rear hole doesn't seem as important because all it's doing is letting the wire go through. So I'm just going to put a pilot hole because my hole saw drill is about as sharp as a rock. And that should be enough, and maybe one more, to get that wire through. So now We have it on, pushed all the way forward, and that will sit very nicely. Maybe we'll take out just one more section. I'm not too worried about that, but this way the connection won't be smashed by the foam. Let's drill one more hole and we'll call that a day. So we got the seat pan basically done. I've got the foam ready to go, and we've got the cover. I've done this before, but I can never remember which one I'm supposed to do first, if I do the front first or the back first, but I'm going to put the whole thing in here. This vinyl is very rigid, unfortunately. This is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think we can make it work. Well, that didn't go as good as I thought. This side came out pretty good. Pulled a little too much on this side, on the other side, and wasn't able to get all that down, but we'll see if we can clean it up. Let's drop it on here, see how it fits. Overall, not too bad. I think once it gets cleaned up, it's going to look a whole lot better. So let's try to clean it up and see if we can't make it shine. Well, a little better. Getting close. I think a few more applications and it should clean up real nice. This is just some interior detail cleaner. Let's see if this does a little bit better job than the cleaner. Not bad. Still a couple of stains up here, but I'm not too worried about those. Not slippery at all either, that's nice. Got the tunnel taped up, cleaned up, and I've got Rust-Oleum Professional. This has actually worked really well for me in the past, and I think it'll be good enough for this. Not going to see anything underneath the seat, but a little bit of protection never hurt. Well, back to the seat now. So, not entirely happy with the way this came out. It looks pretty good. I like to hide that bottom layer, and also it doesn't want to latch in here because this is so thick. So I think I'm just going to take it off and I'm going to start over. A lot of staples to take out, but I don't know. I think it'll be worth it to make it look right. Well, so here's what I got now. This is actually some sort of, I don't know, fiberboard of some sort, but it is more comparable to the original thickness, maybe just a hair thicker. I figure that made it 30 years. This can make it 30 more years. I'm all right with that. It feels like there's a lot of glue in this, so it may not even rot. I am going to just run some Thompson's water seal over it, just in case any moisture gets in, but I think I'll be okay. So let's take our new template and let's make a new pan. Do it the right way this time. So our template's complete. Got the holes marked out in front and the back. So we'll run a saw over it and we'll hollow it out. All right, got it cut the size. Let's get these cut out. Well, here's the finished product. Made a mistake. So the bottom of these are the most critical spot because it rests up against the metal stops. Thought it was the top, so I brought these down way too low. So I had to turn it around and redo it. But we're in good shape there. So we'll get that down there. And when it goes all the way up, we're exactly where we need to be. Perfect. Got to bend these back now. Perfect. That will be a nice snug fit. So again, a good learning experience. I also forgot to put the screws in for the back, and I forgot to run the wire for the brake line through that before I put the cover on. So it was good that I did this, even though I hate redoing things. I'm glad I'm doing it right. So let's figure out where the holes are for this. We'll mark it up. We know where to put some holes. So I flipped it over and I was able to get a rough template of where the holes are going to go. So let's put something in there that we can screw into. So I've got these, and we can screw that in from the back after we pound that in. So that is in there good. That should be able to hold it on, no problem at all. Got the seat on. Fits pretty good. Very nice, nice lines. I don't have it bolted down yet, so it won't. This won't close, but not too bad. Not too bad. Definitely tight. There's no wrinkles in it, which is what I was going for.